Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video is going to be a new series that I'm going to start on the channel, which is Ultimate Hero Guides. And the first hero that I'm going to focus on is my favourite to play in all of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is Lando Calrissian. In this guide we're going to focus on the basics with Lando, his health and health regeneration stats, his weapon of choice, each of his individual abilities, as well as the star cards that I like to use for him in both hero modes and in Galactic Assault. Finally, we will dive into some tips and tricks that I have found work best at being successful with Lando in both Galactic Assault and the hero game modes. So first we'll start off with Lando's base health, which sits at 650, about average for a blaster hero in Battlefront 2. And he also comes in at 200 health regeneration, which again is about the average for a blaster hero. There is a star card that I will cover later that increases this maximum health, which is a big key to surviving with Lando for longer. This card overall gives him 800 health, which is very high for any hero in Battlefront 2. Now, Lando's weapon of choice is his X8 Night Sniper, which, as you can see from the clip in the background, deals 40 damage to the body or 76 damage to the head at close range. This damage drops off to 25 to the body or 47 damage to the head at longer range. Now I'm going to talk about Lando's abilities, starting with his left ability, which is his smoke grenade. This produces a cloud of smoke in front of Lando that obscures enemies' vision of him, as well as the added bonus of preventing saber lock-on when standing inside the smoke. Additionally, zooming in with Lando's Night Sniper allows him to see enemies through the smoke as they become outlined in yellow, as you can see from the footage in the background. Next up is his middle ability, which is his Sharp Shot. This locks on to up to 5 enemies at a time and deals 200 damage to each enemy. The Heavy's Combat Shield, Specialist's Personal Shield, and Iden's Droid Shield are all able to block the incoming damage from the Sharp Shot ability, as you can see in the background. So keep that in mind when using it on those enemies. Also, enemies can roll or dash to avoid the Sharp Shot if they time it correctly, which causes it to miss. A clear line of sight on the target is also required to score a hit, as any obstruction of the enemy's body by terrain or debris can also cause the shot to miss, as displayed by the footage here. The last ability to cover here is his right ability, which is his Disabler. This places a sticky charge on the ground or any surface it is thrown at, which causes the enemy's radar to be scrambled, concealing Lando from the minimap. Additionally, enemies will be highlighted when nearby as a red dot when the disabler is in range, and pressing the R1 button again will detonate this disabler, stunning any enemies in the area of effect. There is a star card that can increase the total duration of this shock, which I will touch on in a little bit. Now that we have covered the basics, let's move on to the star cards that I like to run with Lando. The first card I like to run is called Hot and Cold, which gives him 150 extra HP, as I mentioned earlier, bringing his total up to 800. This is a must-have card regardless of what game mode you're in. The second card I like to use in Galactic Assault is called Wide-Eyed, which increases the lock-on range of Sharp Shot by an extra 40%. And the last card that I like to run with Lando is called Buckle Up Baby. Every enemy defeated or 100 damage to enemy villains reduces the heat per shot of Lando's X8 Night Sniper by 2%, up to a maximum of 34%. This allows you to fire for longer before having to manually cool your blaster, which is a huge bonus, particularly at range or on larger maps such as Geonosis, Hoth and Crate. When it comes to HVV and Hero Showdown, I have the exact same loadout, but swap out Wide-Eyed for Quick Shock, which increases the stun duration of the disabler by 30% if detonated within 5 seconds of attaching to a surface. This is the best defense against saber villains, allowing you to deal more damage to them as they are stunned for longer. Another good card choice for GA is Maximized Efficiency, which reduces the cooldown on Sharp Shot if 3 enemies were hit in the previous use. Whilst this card is good, I find it much more situational, and so Buckle Up Baby gives me a better benefit for longer. Now that we have covered Lando's star cards, let's discuss some general gameplay tips, starting with Galactic Assault. If you are a new or struggling player, the best maps I find to choose Lando on are Endor, Geonosis, the second Death Star, and Camino. On Endor, the forest acts as perfect cover for Lando to ambush his enemies, and the treetops are perfect for some sweet sharp shot multi-kills. Geonosis is an absolute haven for blaster heroes, and the sharp shot ability blends perfectly with the big open map. The other 2 maps are chosen since Lando is actually best up close, and these 2 maps provide plenty of close quarters combat, as well as plenty of flanking routes to sneak up on your enemies and take them out before they even know what hit them. There are other maps that he can be very good on as well, but I just think for those of you who are new to playing Lando, these are the best choice, especially if you are, as I said, new to the game. The biggest key for being successful with Lando is patience. Wait for enemies to come to you instead of being overly aggressive and overextending. His abilities also combine quite well, such as his disabler to stun enemies followed by his sharp shot. The minimap must also be constantly checked, especially to look out for enemy saber heroes, as they are the biggest threat to Lando and can take him out quite easily if you are not careful. Using the disabler as a scanning beacon is a great idea, so that you know where your enemies are, and saving the stunning effect for the more powerful characters such as heroes or reinforcements. Sharp shot is best utilized by activating it in cover and then peeking out and scanning the nearby area for enemies. Who knows, you might even find a few enemies clustered together without even knowing they were there. Now, the smoke grenade is a good way to escape quickly by throwing it at your feet as you run away, making yourself harder to hit so that you can regenerate your health and rejoin the fight. It's also a good idea not to rely too much on the sharp shot up close, as his X8 Night Sniper is more than capable of taking out multiple enemies very quickly. The sharp shot is best reserved for those medium to longer range fights, or if there is a large crowd in front of you, especially given the fact that Lando's spread on his blaster is quite large at longer ranges, and due to the fact that it is not an automatic weapon, it will only fire as fast as you can actually pull the trigger. So slowing down your button mashing when fighting enemies at longer ranges is a really good tip I've found to be much more accurate and still be able to deal decent damage at those longer ranges. So that'll do it for the Galactic Assault tips. Let's just now move on to some tips for the hero game modes. First off, we want to utilize the smoke grenade as much as possible, and this will go a long way to surviving longer with Lando, especially against threatening saber villains such as Vader, Grievous or Dooku. As I mentioned earlier, the smoke can prevent sabers from locking on, making you a much harder target to hit and more likely to survive those one-on-one encounters with those saber villains. The smoke can also disorient some enemies, and using that in tandem with the disabler means you can dance and roll around your enemies and deal massive damage while they are stunned. The next tip I have for the hero modes is to stick close to your teammates. Almost all blaster heroes must do this, as they can be sitting ducks in a 1v1 against another player, especially one who knows what they are doing. So find the nearest teammate you can in HVV and stick to them like glue. So that's just about going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Lando guide. Let me know what you liked or didn't like in the comments below, and also let me know what other heroes you want to see me cover next. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future guides, breakdowns or live streams. And with that, I'm going to get out of here, so I shall see you all in the next video. Peace out.